Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Taylor MacIntyre. We begin tonight with an update on the Old Fort community. On Sunday, the evacuation order was lifted for the majority of homes in the subdivision. Only 4 houses remain on an evacuation order or alert. The Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure has built a semi-permanent road in and out of Old Fort, but there is a potential that weather could initiate ground movement. Tomorrow night, the Junior Canucks welcome North Peace for their first home game of the new season. The team is hoping that the home crowd will be behind them, cheering them on for a W and a 2-0 weekend. With the LNG plant approved in Kitimat, Mayor Ackerman says council will have some big decisions to make over these next 4 years. She adds she's looking forward to continuing her work for the residents of Fort St. John. For the last 3 consecutive years, Kayla has made the trip to Vancouver to record a song in a professional studio. Although she doesn't see singing as her end career path, she's able to connect on a different level with herself and others through her music. In support of the policy, at South Peace Secondary School in Dawson Creek, a gender-neutral washroom space is being built. Within the school, there will still be the traditional gender-separate washrooms as well, providing options and a safe space for all students. The 2020 BC Winter Games in Fort St. John will welcome up to 1,500 athletes, almost 400 coaches, and approximately 250 officials. The board only has the next 18 months to prepare for the event, which will host athletes from across the province between February 20th and February 23rd, 2020. The Burgers to Beat MS campaign is led by former national soccer team captain Christine Sinclair, whose mother was diagnosed with MS over 30 years ago. Sinclair says she wants to do anything she can to help put an end to this disease. 52 players from across the country arrived in Dawson Creek, vying for the chance to wear the maple leaf internationally for Team Canada. The training camp is an annual event that helps to develop and evaluate the country's top female hockey players. Team Canada took on our local junior B clubs, the Dawson Creek Junior Canucks and the Fort St. John Huskies.
Well, the overall experience was unreal. I mean, you don't get an opportunity like this ever, so to have this opportunity to play against Team Canada and, help them put on a good camp, make it very competitive, you just can't ask for much more than that.
This is probably the best team we're going to play all year, and it's just at the beginning of the season to come here and get to play 2 games against them this early. It's great for us.
There were also 2 all-Canadian matchups, pairing some of our nation's greatest players up against each other. But it wasn't only the local fans and players who enjoyed the event.
We had a blast, and we really appreciate the guys taking the time to play us to help grow our game, and to everyone that came out, the crowd was amazing as well. Every time we come here, there's such incredible support from everyone in the entire community, so we really appreciate it.
Aldergrove, BC native Sarah Potomac says the small community really made her feel at home.
Anytime you get to wear the jersey, it's really special. This is another opportunity for us. It started the new quad, so this is kind of the first step for the next 4 years to hopefully bring back that gold medal. So it was really special to be able to have this camp in BC and be from around here.
The camp gives Hockey Canada coaches the chance to view high-caliber players in various on-ice situations as part of the process of selecting the next Olympic team. In October, the roster for the Four Nations Cup will be announced, with the tournament taking place in November in Saskatoon.
You can tell how we are as players. I think coaches have a good idea where we are at as a group and individuals. So I think it's super important to see the hard work, the intensity, and obviously every girl that are here deserve it. They show so much intensity and hard work, and that's something that's it's going to be keeping going in the future.
The future also looks bright for female hockey in the Peace region. As more young players have the chance to admire their idols competing in their hometowns, the passion for the sport grows.
Oh, it was awesome for young girls and young minor hockey players to come out and watch these Olympians play and see how good athletes that they are and how well they play together and what kind of program that they're a part of.
The growth that we've seen in girls and female hockey in our community and region has been unbelievable, and we think that's the legacy of doing these events. Really helps build the sport for our community.
The event was a win-win-win. Local teams had the opportunity to play against Olympians, Team Canada was able to set a benchmark for their new Olympic season, and more young players fell in love with the sport of hockey. It was a weekend to celebrate female hockey in our nation and to grow Canada's sport. Taylor MacIntyre, CJDC-TV News, Dawson Creek. The Oilers and Penguins put on a wildly entertaining game for fans at Rogers Place last night. And in the end, Sidney Crosby outdueled Connor McDavid. If you're a BC Hydro customer, you may have noticed a new charge on your bill for something called a crisis fund. The amount isn't large, but it's got many people wondering what it is and why they're being charged. As Remembrance Day approaches, veterans are in the spotlight on Parliament Hill, but the focus is on financial hardship. As many as 270,000 veterans are owed $165 million because of a calculation error. An emotional send-off for a Vancouver Whitecaps fan favorite. Alphonso Davies played his last game for Vancouver before setting off for Germany. Grim new details paint a disturbing picture in the disappearance of Washington Post columnist Jamal Khashoggi. Turkish officials are increasingly convinced the Saudi crown prince was involved in the journalist's death. There's plenty of uncertainty around the Edmonton Eskimos after missing the playoffs for the first time in 5 years. More specifically, questions surround star quarterback Mike Riley, who is a free agent and may not be back next season. CTV's Adam Cook reports. In the meantime, Canada's Prime Minister was asked by CNN to offer his thoughts on the U.S. midterms, and the answer he gave is exactly what you would expect Justin Trudeau to say. Taking a look at the regional forecast for tomorrow, Hudson's Hope is looking at sunshine in the forecast, a high of -3. Fort Nelson, much the same, the sun shining for tomorrow, a high of -8. Chetwynd, Fort St. John, and Dawson Creek, it's all sunshine for you as well. We've got highs of -6 in Fort St. John, and in Chetwynd and Dawson Creek, we're looking at a high of -5. Tumbler Ridge is looking at a high of -7 for tomorrow, but sunshine as well. And over in Alberta, we're looking at sunshine in Spirit River, a high of -10. And in Grand Prairie, sunshine as well, and a high of -8. Well, that's what made news for today. Tune in again tomorrow night at 6. Have a good evening.